Hey everyone, Bitcoin at $100,000. Crazy, right?
It's absolutely wild.
I mean, we always knew crypto was going to be a roller coaster, but hitting six figures, it's mind-blowing. I bet everyone listening has got a million questions.
Yeah, and probably a stack of articles trying to explain it all.
Exactly. So today, we're going to do a deep dive into what's really going on.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, think about it. From practically zero value back in 2009.
People were literally trading Bitcoins for pizzas.
Yeah, I remember those stories. Crazy to think those early, almost joke transactions were part of Bitcoin's journey to where it is now.
It really shows how far we've come.
And then, of course, there was that huge boom in 2017 when it went up to $20,000. Everyone was talking about Bitcoin back then.
It was the first time a lot of people even heard of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then came the FTX crash in 2022.
Yeah, that was rough. Definitely shook people's confidence.
It made people question if crypto was even real, you know?
Like it was all just a house of cards.
Exactly. But Bitcoin survived.
Like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Totally. And now has hit this incredible milestone.
It really is remarkable.
So the question is, why now? Why this sudden surge to $100,000? What's changed?
Well, a lot of things, actually. But one of the biggest factors is Wall Street is getting in on the game. We're talking big institutions.
You mean like the BlackRocks and Fidelities of the world?
Exactly. They're launching Bitcoin ETFs.
Wait, ETFs for Bitcoin, like for regular investors?
Yep. An ETF makes it so much easier for people to invest, especially those with a lot of money.
So it's like a stamp of approval from the financial world.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's huge. But there's got to be more to it than just ETFs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people aren't just blindly following Wall Street, are they?
You're right. There's a lot of economic anxiety in the world right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Inflation, shaky markets. People are looking for somewhere safe to put their money.
And they're turning to Bitcoin.
Exactly. It's decentralized, limited supply, not controlled by any government for a lot of people. Bitcoin feels safer than traditional investments right now.
So it's like digital gold.
That's a great way to put it.
Digital gold in a world that's going more digital every day.
Makes sense, right?
Absolutely. So we've got big institutions jumping in, people looking for a safe haven. But didn't politics play a role too? Wasn't there some buzz around Trump and Bitcoin?
You're right. Remember when he pushed for a Bitcoin ETF?
Yeah.
That definitely sent a signal to the market. Governments and regulations play a huge role in shaping people's perceptions.
Because if the government is against something,
people are a lot less likely to invest.
Exactly. Okay, so a supportive political environment can boost confidence and drive investment. But let's not forget about FOMO, the fear of missing out. Social media is filled with stories about people getting rich off Bitcoin.
That definitely plays a role.
Right. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If everyone thinks Bitcoin is going to go up, they buy more of it.
And the price goes up.
Exactly. But that kind of hype, it can be dangerous.
It absolutely can. People make impulsive decisions without really understanding the risks.
So remind us.
Yeah.
What are some of those risks?
Well, for starters, not every investment is a guaranteed winner. You need to do your research, understand the technology, the market.
And never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Exactly.
Solid advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about all the reasons behind this incredible surge. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Bitcoin, right? What about all those other cryptocurrencies, the altcoins? What happens to them when Bitcoin takes off like this?
Great question. When Bitcoin does well, it often creates a ripple effect throughout the whole crypto market.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Investors get excited and they start looking for other promising projects to put their money in. You mentioned Ethereum earlier, remember? A lot of people are wondering if that's going to be the next one to hit a major milestone, like $10,000.
So it's kind of like a rising tide lifts all boats.
To a certain extent, but you have to remember not all cryptocurrencies are created equal.
Right.
Some have much stronger fundamentals than others, and their growth might depend on way more than just Bitcoin's price.
Got it. So Bitcoin's success can give the whole market a boost. But it doesn't mean every other cryptocurrency is automatically going to the moon.
Exactly. And while investors are watching Bitcoin, governments are too.
Oh, yeah. What are they thinking?
Well, they're starting to realize they can't ignore this whole crypto thing anymore. I mean, it's getting way too big. And we're seeing a real mix of reactions.
How so?
Some governments are embracing the innovation. They're like, okay, how do we create rules that encourage growth but also protect investors.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. Some rules could actually make the market more stable and bring in even more people. But on the other hand, some governments are way more cautious. They're worried about the risks,
Like what?
money laundering and tax evasion, that sort of thing. They might create stricter rules that could actually slow down innovation.
Oh, I see. So it's still a bit of a Wild West out there.
Yeah, you could say that.
So we've got other cryptocurrencies maybe riding the wave and governments trying to figure out what to do. But what about DeFi and Web3? You mentioned those earlier, and honestly, they still kind of confuse me. What are they all about?
Well, DeFi stands for decentralized finance. It's basically a whole new financial system built on blockchain technology, but get this, without needing banks or any of those traditional middlemen.
Whoa.
Yeah. Imagine getting a loan without going to a bank, or sending money directly to someone halfway across the world without needing, like, PayPal.
So you're saying it cuts out the middleman.
Exactly.
Wow, okay. And what about Web3? How does that fit in?
Web3 is kind of like the next version of the internet, the evolution of the web.
Okay.
It's all about giving users more control over their data and their online experiences. Imagine a world where you own your data, not Facebook or Google.
So like a more decentralized internet.
Exactly. A more user-centric web.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Right.
But how does Bitcoin hitting $100,000 actually impact all of this?
Well, with Bitcoin doing so well, it means there's more money flowing into the whole crypto ecosystem. And that means more resources and investment for these really innovative projects like DeFi and Web3.
So Bitcoin's success is like a catalyst for change in the whole financial world.
You got it. It's fueling the development and adoption of some truly groundbreaking technology. But even with all this excitement, we can't forget about the risks.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things listeners should watch out for in this Wild West of crypto? Yeah, it all sounds super exciting, but I know there's got to be a flip side to this. What are some of the things we should be careful about?
Well, for starters, you got to watch out for market manipulation.
Oh, yeah. Like how?
Well, those whales we talked about, the ones who hold tons and tons of Bitcoin, they can actually influence the market, like push prices up or down to make themselves richer.
So they could like artificially inflate the price and then sell all their Bitcoin at the top, leaving everyone else holding the bag.
Exactly. And it happens more than you think.
So how do we protect ourselves?
Honestly, the best thing you can do is don't get caught up in the hype. Do your research, understand the market, and this is key. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's good advice for any investment, really.
Absolutely.
Okay, so watch out for the whales. Anything else we should keep in mind?
Well, remember how we talked about governments and regulations still being kind of up in the air? Yeah, well, that uncertainty can be a real risk for investors. I mean, things could be going great one day and then, bam, a new law comes out and changes everything.
Oof, yeah, that's scary.
It is. That's why it's so important to stay informed about what's happening in the regulatory landscape.
Don't just assume everything's going to stay the same.
Exactly. And then there's the whole hype versus reality thing,
What do you mean?
Well, Bitcoin gets a lot of attention, like a lot. And that can sometimes lead to unrealistic expectations.
People think they're going to get rich quick.
It happens. They see those headlines about Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, and they think it's a guaranteed path to riches. But the truth is, any investment comes with risks, Bitcoin included. It can be super volatile. I mean, the price goes up and down like crazy, and there's always the chance of losing money.
Right. It's not for the faint of heart.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the risks, but I'm curious about the possibilities.
Yeah.
What's next for Bitcoin? Where do we go from here? Could this just be the start of something huge EE?
I think so, yeah. I mean, one scenario a lot of people are talking about is mass adoption.
Like everyone using Bitcoin.
Exactly. Could it become as common as using the internet?
Whoa, that's a big thought.
It is. But to get there, a few things need to happen. First, we need to see way more businesses accepting Bitcoin.
Like being able to buy groceries with Bitcoin.
Yeah. Or your coffee, clothes, even pay your rent.
That would be awesome.
Right. But it also needs to be easier to use.
I get that. I mean, crypto can be kind of confusing for normal people, right?
Totally. We need simpler platforms and tools so anyone can buy and sell Bitcoin, no matter their tech skills. Like, remember how the internet used to be all dial-up connections and complicated stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And now everyone's got a smartphone in their pocket and can use the internet without even thinking about it. Bitcoin needs to become that easy.
That makes sense. So more adoption and easier to use. What else?
Well, the technology itself has to keep improving, too. Transactions need to be faster, cheaper, and even more secure. That's going to take a lot of innovation, but I think it's possible.
Okay, so mass adoption is one possibility. What else are people thinking about?
Another big idea is Bitcoin as digital gold.
Wait, replacing actual gold with lines of code?
Think about it. For centuries, gold has been that safe haven asset, like a store of value. But in today's digital world, Bitcoin offers some advantages.
Like what?
Well, for one, it's way easier to store and transfer. No more need for vaults and armored trucks, right?
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is actually more scarce than gold. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins.
Wow. So you're saying Bitcoin could actually replace gold someday?
It's definitely possible. I mean, gold still has a lot of cultural and historical significance. But Bitcoin is emerging as a real alternative, especially for younger people who are already comfortable with digital assets.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
I agree.
We've learned so much about Bitcoin, its journey to $100,000, and what it could mean for the future of finance. What's the one thing you want listeners to take away from all of this?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, stay informed, and don't be afraid to explore the possibilities. The world of crypto is constantly evolving. We're just at the beginning of something truly incredible. Who knows what unexpected industries or services might embrace Bitcoin as this all unfolds? It's a pretty exciting time.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It really feels like we're just scratching the surface. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. And for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows? Maybe we'll be back for another dive into the wild world of crypto very soon.